Hey everybody, it's Andy and Shannon again from Creatures in Cosplay, and today we are going to be making a video on our vampire costumes. We're going to be going to the Midsummer Scream.
I guess. It's scary, I heard.
So we're going to Midsummer Scream tomorrow, and we have done a bunch of different costumes, but never really ventured into the horror.
That's because it's scary.
So this is going to be our first venture into the horror genre. So what we're going to do is we're going to make vampire costumes. We've got an idea for the wings, we've got an idea for the masks, and Shannon's going to take care of the clothing and costume, the clothing portion and the sewing portion, and I'm going to go ahead and take care of the building of the wings and everything that's done with foam. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more of the. What's up, guys? Andy here from Creatures in Cosplay, and today we are going to be taking a look at making of the vampire wings for the vampire costumes that we are going to be wearing to Midsummer Scream, and probably for Halloween. Who knows? We made somewhat similar wings for Faces by Rachie. Follow her on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. She was Morgan for the Anime Expo that happened here just about a couple of weeks ago, and so we made her the complete costume. These are the head wings that she wore. As you can see, they screw in, hopefully you can see that. They do screw into a headband that goes underneath the wig that had bolts sticking out of it, so that it was easy to hide where the wings were being supported and coming from. They are much smaller than the big body wings that we built for her. And these wings just slide into the back of her corset. And they've been painted and coated with Mod Podge, and it kind of gives it that nice shine, and when the camera lights hit it, it really kind of brings it to life. So what we're going to be working on is a vampire costume for Shannon and I am going to be using EVA foam. I've got 2mm, 6mm, and then we also do have some floor mats. That's going to come in handy. We're also going to be using some PEX pipe. PEX pipe is really good. It's really strong and durable. Once you do bend it into its shape, it takes quite a bit of force to bend it back, or you can use a heat gun. And we're also going to be using 9-gauge wire. Now, if you haven't worked with 9-gauge wire before, I'm not going to ruin the surprise for you of how difficult this thing is to bend. But again, if you're looking for stability, that's the kind of thing you want to go with, because it is, again, the basis for these wings. And just so you see how big they actually are in relation to me, this is all supported with 9-gauge wire. This portion here that slides into the corset is just bare 9-gauge wire. And the PEX pipe, this stuff, is making up the boning of the wings. And then we've got some clay on the tips for aesthetics and to finish everything off. So we also have our barge cement, which we use to glue everything down foam wise. It's great. It's contact, so what you want to do is be very, very careful once it's applied and dried, because you're only going to get one shot. Once you put the two pieces of foam together, they're not coming apart. So again, use your rulers, use your registration marks, and make sure you're extremely careful when you're putting together your final product, because this stuff does stick very quickly and is very good and very durable, very sturdy, and the foam will rip apart before the glue comes undone. So now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to start by measuring out how big the wings are going to stick over the top of my shoulders and how far they're going to be sticking out the sides. Once we get those measurements down, we also need to make a harness so that we can slide these tubes into the harness, and then these 9-gauge wires that are going to be the connector piece can easily be slid into the back of the costume. The plus side of making it with tubing and wire is that it is very easy to hide, especially if you don't mind poking a couple small holes in your clothing. I'm going to just get a little bit closer with this 9-gauge wire so you can see what the thickness is. Hopefully it's in focus, but it is really thick, and that's why it's so durable and why it's going to hold up. I think this was 135 inches of 6mm EVA foam, and there's about 136 or 37, I haven't measured it in a while, inches of plastic PEX pipe. So it will hold up. So we're gonna pause right now, and it's really boring to watch me take measurements. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out all the boring stuff and just kind of get to the meat and potatoes and the good stuff that you guys are gonna want to see, and stuff that'll help everybody out what you want to try and build your own vampire wings. So we will be back. Okay, guys. Shortly. So the pattern's drawn out, and we have a height of 43 inches and a width of 37 inches. So I've measured out about 122, 123 inches of 9-gauge galvanized steel wire. And so what I'm going to do now is basically just go around the pattern and bend the wire to the foam to make the skeleton. And then the next piece will be getting the PEX pipe on there. So if you've not worked with galvanized steel wire before, I recommend gloves and some pliers. This stuff is not exactly that easy to bend, but it will bend, and it will hold its shape. So if you're trying this at home, good luck. The next step is to put the PEX pipe over the galvanized steel wire. And it's just the outside skeleton of it. So what we're going to do now is we are going to put the PEX pipe around the 9-gauge wire. And then we're going to make the two centerpieces that are going to slide into the support structure, and those two pieces will be right here. We're going to just wrap a point here and a point here with a solid bar that goes across. That way it just slides smoothly into the PEX tubing that's going to be in the back of the costume that Shannon is working on right now. So what we have now is the PEX pipe has been put over the 9-gauge wire. Glued the corners down. It was a little harder to make it a pointed edge, but what we're going to do is we're going to take some scrap foam, and we're basically going to make a bone piece that would go here, somewhere here. That way it covers the tape. And so the next part is going to be taking the barge cement and coating the outside line and coating the underside of the PEX tube, and then we wait for dry time, and then we stick it down, and then after that we're going to go ahead and cut out we'll go ahead and cut out the wings themselves. Okay guys, so here's the final installment. There's two pairs of wings because I was making another one in parallel, this one on the right here. Same concept design, using the PEX piping for the boning, and added a bit of clay, paper clay, to the tips. And we left this one without sanding it. As you can see, it's the floor mat. But from kind of a distance, and definitely in pictures, it gives it like this scaly look to it, so we thought it was kind of cool and left it as is. This other one we did flat, just to give it a different kind of texture. What we did was we plasti dipped the wings on both sides. I did them in black, and then we added the paint by hand. Also, some of the knots on the bones were added with paper clay. So this is the final product after everything has been cut and glued and gone through paint. So if you're going to try this at home, good luck and have fun.